This problem says the sum of two numbers is 8. So sum, you need to know that means added. So you're adding two numbers and they add up to 8. While their difference, which means subtract, is negative 12. What is the product of the two numbers? And product means the result of multiplication. So when you add the two numbers, you get 8. When you subtract them, you get negative 12. And then they want us to figure out what the two numbers are and then multiply them together to find the product. So this is solving a system of equations because we have two variables. We have I'm going to just call them x and y. And so x is one of the numbers and y is the other. And so it says the sum of them is 8. So I'm going to write x plus y equals 8. And then the difference is negative 12. So x minus y equals negative 12. All right, so this is a system of equations. And in this one, the best method to use is what's called elimination. And so elimination, what you're going to do is just add these two equations together, because when I add them, it's going to get rid of the y. So here's how this works. So I have x plus x, that would be 2x. I have y plus negative y, that's 0, that's going to go away. And then I have 8 plus negative 12, that's negative 4. So 2x equals 4. Now I have, the reason to do this was to create an equation with just one variable that I can solve for just that variable. So just a one-step equation here. I divide both sides by 2 to solve for x. And so I get x equals negative 2. So the way that I find the y value now is I just take either of these equations and I plug in negative 2 for x, and then I solve it for y. So it doesn't matter which equation I use. I'll take this top equation and I'm going to plug in negative 2 for x. So that gives me negative 2 plus y equals 8. And again, so what I did is I took this negative 2 and I plugged it in right there. So I replaced the x with negative 2. And now I'm just going to solve this. So again, a simple one-step equation, add 2 to both sides. So that's 0. So then I have y equals 10. So now I have my two numbers. I have x equals 2 and I have y equals 10. And if you just check, so when I add them, it should be equal to 8. So 10 plus negative 2 is 8. That worked. And then it says when I subtract them, it should be equal to negative 12. So if I take negative 2 minus 10, I get negative 12. All right. And then now they want the product of the two numbers. So I'm just going to take the two numbers and I'm going to multiply them together. So I'm going to do x times y. So negative 2 times 10, and that gives me negative 20. So the answer is negative 20. So hopefully that helps you out. Keep up the good work, and you will master the math.